On day 1, I spawned in as a baby Warden Dinosaur, and my home in the deep dark was under attack. Mom? Dad? An army of Witheraptors led by the massive Withersaur was laying waste to everything in their path.
That's it, my minions. Destroy the Warden Dinosaurs. Destroy them all.
What's going on?
Over here, Max!
I spotted my parents in the chaos and rushed to their side.
Son, the Withersaur won't stop until he kills us all.
Escape to the surface, find the nether stars, and light the beacons. It's the only way to stop him.
What? I don't understand! Before they could explain further, the Withersaurs had a powerful attack down on my parents, killing them instantly. Mom! Dad! No! The Withersaur continued his onslaught as I ran away as fast as I could towards the surface.
You cannot run from me, Warden Dinosaur. In 100 days, this world will become mine.
On day 2, I ascended to the overworld, but the Withersaur was hot on my tail. I only had 5 hearts, so if I got hit from a single blast, I'd be toast. Purple flames rained down from the sky all around me, and I used my small size to avoid them as best as I could. I continued running with all of my might, but I was getting exhausted. It's hopeless! I gotta hide! The Withersaur seemed to command the weather to summon frightening thunder. I was terrified, but I managed to use the rain as cover to avoid his gaze and ducked into a small opening. Please don't see me! Just as I thought I was safe, my heavy warden weight caused me to fall straight through the damp ground. Ow! That really hurt! Just as I recovered from the fall, I saw a group of Witheraptors closing in on me. From up above, the Withersaur looked down through the tiny opening I had fallen through.
After him, my Witheraptors. Bring me his horns as a trophy.
The Withersaur's minions forced me deeper and deeper into the underground tunnel as I ran for my life. On day 3, I was still being chased by the Witheraptors. I quickly ducked into a separate tunnel and tried to tap into my innate Warden Dinosaur abilities. I could hear the Witheraptors running around looking for me, so I just had to focus. Suddenly, I unlocked a new power giving me my echolocation ability. Wait, I can see through walls! The ability was truly awesome, but I wasn't out of the woods yet. Using my echolocation, I was able to avoid some of the groups, but there were simply too many on patrol. I continued to run, but before long, I was cornered.
You look delicious.
I had no intention of becoming the raptor's dinner, so I had no choice but to fight. No! This won't be the end! Determined, I charged towards the Witheraptors. I caught them off guard, but they retaliated quickly and landed several bites and scratches, inflicting damage to the precious few hearts I had. I fought back using my powerful bite, but because I only had just hatched a few days ago, my attacks were too weak. I managed to take a few of them down, but more kept coming. I did my best to stand my ground, but it was starting to look like a bit more than I could chew. Before long, I was overwhelmed by the herd of raptors. It isn't enough! I'm too weak!
Stay back, kid.
Out of nowhere, another raptor jumped into the fray. He was incredibly powerful and fast. He used his speed to take out the Witheraptors. After some fighting, he managed to destroy them all. Whoa, thanks! Who are you anyway?
The name's Razor. But there's no time to get comfortable. The Withersaur's still out searching for you. Come on, follow me.
Something told me I could trust Razor, so I followed him as he led me out of the tunnels. On days 4 through 7, a blizzard raged as Razor led me to a snowy mountaintop way up in the sky. Being a Warden Dinosaur from the deep dark, I wasn't used to being so high up. Where are we going, Razor?
There, look.
I looked ahead and saw a giant Allosaurus meeting with none other than the Withersaur. Razor and I quickly took cover.
Oh, great Withersaur, allow me to do your bidding.
The Warden Dinosaur will be coming. Guard this beacon with your life, and you will have a place beside me in your new one.
The Withersaur flew away, and that's when I saw it. A beacon! That's what my parents were talking about! Filled with a newfound sense of purpose, I rushed forward to confront the Allosaurus with Razor right by my side. Hey, step away from that beacon!
You dare command me? I will destroy you in the name of the great Withersaur!
Razor and I traded blows with the Allosaurus, but he was huge, and I was still young. Razor did his best to make up the slack, but he quickly became overwhelmed too. The Allosaurus was super strong.
Max, you have to tap into your powers as a Warden Dinosaur. You can do it.
As Razor distracted the Allosaurus, I concentrated really hard. Using all of my willpower, I sent forth a huge blast that caught the Allosaurus on fire.
What?
Nice job, Max. Now let's finish him off.
Working together, Razor with his speed and I with my dino breath, we managed to defeat the Allosaurus once and for all. After the final blow was struck, I noticed that the Allosaurus dropped a nether star and other materials. Something inside me knew exactly what I had to do. I rushed over to the Iron Pyramid and got to work crafting a beacon to put on top of it. Just as I placed it down, a huge shining light shot directly up into the sky. A surge of energy burst from the power source and I felt myself beginning to transform. I grew bigger in size and I could feel my strength swelling. My horns grew longer and I even gained 5 additional hearts. I was now an adult Warden Dinosaur. Yes! The beacon made me stronger! Mom and Dad were right! But Razor, how'd you know about the beacon?
I'm an old friend of your parents, but never mind that. Max, there are 4 more beacons scattered across the world. You'll need to activate them all in order to become strong enough to destroy the Withersaur.
Right, then I guess we better get searching.
I don't think so.
The gigantic Withersaur flew onto the scene. Even at my new adult size, he was really intimidating.
I wanted to see your strength for myself, and so far, I'm unimpressed. Not to worry, you will still make a fine member of my Wither army.
The Withersaur began to charge up a powerful attack. Something inside me told me this was it. I braced for impact.
Max, watch out!
Razor jumped in front of me and he was hit instead. The blast killed him in one shot, while also leaving a giant crater in the ground. Razor, no! I couldn't let Razor's sacrifice be in vain. I ran away as fast as I could. I had to find the beacons to not only avenge my parents, but now Razor too.
Run, Warden Dinosaur, run! At the end of these 100 days, you and everyone else will turn into wither dinosaurs like me!
On days 8 through 10, I was running down the mountain when suddenly humongous boulders began to rain down all around me. Could this be the work of the Withersaur? How is he doing this? The rocks continued to fall. It felt like a meteor shower, directed only at me. If I was gonna have any hope of surviving, I'd need to build a sturdy base to take cover in. To make matters worse, I'd have to build it while under attack. I quickly began to gather materials and start on the foundation of my build. The raining boulders didn't make it easy, but soon enough, I had a small structure I could use for cover as I planned out the rest of the build. Suddenly, the sound of falling rocks stopped, and the earth became still again. Just when I thought the coast was clear, I saw them. A horde of Witheraptors were waiting for me. I couldn't let them undo my hard work, so I decided to take them head on. This time around, I wasn't gonna go down without a fight. The fight was tough. Thankfully, because of my new strength and warden abilities, I was way stronger than any individual Witheraptor. I blasted them with my flames, causing blue fire to surround my enemies. They were relying on their numbers, and there certainly were a lot of them. But as I wiped out more and more of their comrades, their confidence fell. The remaining few took off into the hills. Yeah, you better run! I continued to work on my build, confident now that the Witheraptors were gone. Little did I know, they were merely waiting for nightfall to prepare for their next attack. On days 11 through 14, I finished up the exterior of my build, modeling it into the shape of a Warden Dinosaur head. I then began to work on the interior. I fashioned a room for myself, making a cozy place that felt just like home. Next, I loaded up a chest with all of the essentials I'd need for survival, including food and tools. With that, I admired all the hard work I had accomplished. Home sweet home. My victory was short-lived when suddenly a Chromojosaurus burst from the tree line.
Run! Run for your life!
The strange little dinosaur ran directly into me, clearly not looking where it was going. When it saw my impressive stature, it quickly became frightened.
What are you?
Relax, I'm Max. I'm a Warden Dinosaur. I don't mean any harm. What were you running from?
The Witheraptors! They attacked the herd and, well...
Suddenly, I could hear them. In the distance, the sound of gigantic booming footsteps rang out, and before long, I could see their source. A herd of absolutely massive Camarosauruses were barreling towards us. Come on, we gotta move! On days 15 through 17, the Chromojosaurus and I continued to run from the stampede of titans.
The name's Crom, by the way.
Cool! I'll try to remember that if we don't die. The giant stride of the herd was making them move faster than expected from such lumbering beasts. If Chrome and I were to survive, we'd have to think quickly.
Max, follow me. I have an idea.
Directly ahead of us was a vast ocean, which went on for as far as the eye could see. Chrome thought that it would make an excellent escape route, but there was just one problem. I couldn't swim. Chrome, this isn't gonna work. I can't swim.
Oh, man. Okay then, we'll have to build quickly.
Turns out, Chrome was an excellent builder. Before I knew it, he had constructed a raft big enough for the two of us, and just in time.
Hop on!
We made it onto the raft just as the herd stomped onto the water's edge. We weren't gonna be roadkill today, but our troubles were just getting started. On days 18 through 21, Chrome and I were stuck floating in the middle of the ocean. We were tired, thirsty, and starving. I couldn't help but feel a little angry at Chrome for getting us into this mess. Let's build a raft! Nothing could possibly go wrong!
Hey, at least I tried to help.
Some help you turned out to be! Now I'll never get to the other beacons and avenge my parents!
Beacons?
It seemed like Chrome knew more than he let on, but before I could question him, we both saw something massive underneath the water's surface.
Max!
Brace for impact! From the water, a giant sea creature emerged, and it looked really hungry. Thinking quickly, I used my remaining strength to unleash my dino breath on it. Take this! As my attack struck the monster, it shouted out in pain. Unfortunately, while my attack did some damage, it really only made it angrier. The sea monster retaliated quickly, and with a lot of force, shattering our raft into a million pieces. I was submerged in the water, and I tried my best to swim to safety. But my little arms couldn't carry my weight. Chrome! As I sunk deeper and deeper, I began to drown, and all I could think about was how I let everyone down. On days 22 through 25, I woke up stranded on a beach. I was thankful to be alive, but also sad that I had yelled at Chrome right before we were separated. Before I could think about it for too long, I was ambushed. Strange hairy creatures came out of the nearby trees. They were wearing fur and carried deadly clubs. What the? Who are you guys?
Post-cadet, Malinga.
I couldn't understand their language, but their weapons spoke for themselves. They gathered around me and hurried me along into the trees. Exhausted and drained from almost drowning, I knew better than to try and pick a fight. The strange furry beings led me to their village. I looked around and saw simple homes made of wood. But beyond them, I saw something else. Way off in the distance, past the sprawling desert, was a giant golden pyramid. That must be one of the beacons! I tried to explain to my captors the significance of the pyramid and the threat that the Withersaur posed, but they didn't understand me. Suddenly, a roar rang out from the tree line. Another dinosaur approached and I realized it was Chrome. Chrome, you're alive!
Alive and well. Good to see you, Max.
Chrome explained that he landed here yesterday and that the cave people saw him as a god. What's more, I was gonna be cooked and served as a feast in his honor. I apologized for getting mad at him on the raft, and he forgave me. Afterwards, I had to ask him for a small favor. Hey, can you not eat me?
Alright. Dranaga Hukali.
The cave people agreed and I was let go. I asked Chrome about the Golden Pyramid and he told me that the men considered it a sacred place. I wouldn't be allowed to enter unless I went through the trial. I'll do anything to get my revenge! On days 26 through 28, the caveman led Chrome and I to the Golden Pyramid, where I came face to face with an incredibly dangerous obstacle course. There were lava pits, spike traps, arrow dispensers, and even more deadly obstacles to get through. To top it off, it was surrounded by a moat of lava. If I fell in, I'd be burned to a crisp. This is the trial?
Hey, no one said defeating the Withersaur was gonna be easy.
I knew Chrome was right. If I couldn't get through this, what hope would I have in getting my revenge? I took a deep breath and started the trial. The traps were really scary, but being a Warden Dinosaur, I knew I had to be brave. My bravery made me a bit too confident, however, and I got hit by one of the traps, losing some of my hearts. Youch! This is tougher than it looks! Despite the challenge, I kept on moving. The cave people cheered for me as I made it past a particularly tough obstacle. Quickly, however, their cheers turned into screams as they looked up into the sky to only find the Withersaur looming over us.
What do we have here? Trying to activate another beacon, eh, Max? We'll see about that.
The Withersaur turns his attention away from me and onto the course itself. He took in a bunch of energy and then unleashed it all directly onto my path towards the pyramid. Once the dust settled, the course was completely destroyed.
Good luck getting to the beacon now, Max.
With that, the Withersaur flew off, leaving me behind with no way to get to the pyramid. Oh no! What do I do now? I failed the trial! I looked towards the end of the bridge and noticed loose stones that might be of use. I used all my strength and began stomping the floor. The ground trembled and the stones fell down, creating a new path to get across. I did it! On days 29 through 32, I arrived at the Golden Pyramid. I looked up towards the top and began to climb. I arrived at the peak, but quickly noticed the top of the pyramid was missing with a tunnel leading down inside. I've got to check this out. I hopped down and was greeted by 3 Triceratopses.
Ah, you've arrived after all. It seems the Withersaur was unsuccessful.
Not to worry. We will succeed where he failed. And scatter your bones amongst the sands.
The Trihorn trio charged at me with such intensity that I could barely prepare. I hadn't expected the Withersaur to have herbivores in his army, but I wasn't about to pull any punches. If these Triceratops were trying to keep me from my revenge, then I was gonna have to go through them. There were so many that I started by setting them ablaze with my dino breath. I thought it would be enough to burn through their armored scales, but they continued to fight me through the flames. Each hit from their horns dealt massive damage, and I tried to get them off my tail with my stomping attacks. I continued to cycle through all of my abilities, but the battle was tough. Using my Warden Dinosaur powers, I managed to defeat one of the Triceratops, but as I did, the other 2 grew bigger as a result. What the?
Our life force is tied together. If one falls, the others strengthen.
This wasn't good. I thought they were tough before, but now their attacks hit like meteors. The 2 of them ganged up on me and with their additional power felt unstoppable. The battle was tough, but I had come too far to give up now. I continued using everything I had to make a dent in their stamina. I had to pull out all of the stops in order to take down another Triceratops. As expected, the last remaining Triceratops became gigantic. His head had become so dense that my attacks couldn't damage him from the front anymore. He knew this well and made sure I couldn't loop around him. What do I do? Nothing's working!
Hey, pizza table then! Over here, I'm talking to you!
Chrome! The Triceratops' attention turned to Chrome and I was able to attack him from the sides. Chrome did a good job of keeping him occupied, and I put everything I had into one last attack. I unleashed all of my power, and the Triceratops was finally defeated. Like the Allosaurus, he dropped another star, a Triceratops horn sword, and other materials I needed for the beacon. Yes! We did it, Chrome! Chrome? I looked over and saw Chrome injured and dying on the ground. It seemed like during the fighting, he took one too many hits.
Max, I think they got me good. Do me a favor, would you? Give the Withersaur one from me. All right, pal?
No! I ran outside and roared into the sky as thunder struck behind me. Rain poured over the pyramid as I got to work and placed the second beacon. A beam of light shone itself into the sky and I felt myself become more powerful, gaining 5 more hearts and a new sonic boom ability. I let myself fill with rage. I could think of nothing but my revenge. Chrome, Razor, my parents, the Withersaur will pay! On days 33 through 35, a pack of Witheraptors had climbed up the pyramid steps and came to face me by the second beacon.
That's the Warden Dinosaur? I thought it was just some kid.
What are you, scared? There's tons of us, and only one of him.
The Witheraptors sprang to life as their bony bodies clashed against my leathery hide. Teeth and claws scraped and slashed, and my hearts depleted quickly. But my patience had run thin, and I had had enough. Back off! I roared out with all of my might and stomped hard onto the ground, the resulting shockwaves killing a few of my pursuers. Lightning struck the top of the golden pyramid, bathing it and some of the raptors in flames. The raptors shrieked and cried as I finished the last of them off. Nature, it seemed, was on my side that day. Or so I thought. Just as I celebrated my victory, the largest lightning strike of all hit me and I was flung from the top of the pyramid. I fell deep down into the wastes below. On days 36 through 39, the sands of the vast desert shifted as I emerged out from under them. I've got sand in my mouth! Against all odds, I survived the fall with only half a heart remaining. I was lucky to be alive, but if I wasn't careful, something would land a hit on me and I'd be toast. I had to proceed cautiously. Unfortunately for me, my heavy footsteps sent micro shockwaves through the wastes, signaling to anything lurking down below that dinner was ready. As if right on cue, a cluster of giant scorpions emerged from the sand and headed right for me. Scorpions? Why did it have to be scorpions? Ah! I ran as fast as I could. My tri-toed feet were not designed to sprint through the sand. The scorpions, meanwhile, flew across the surface swiftly as if they were weightless. It was only a matter of time before they caught up to me, and with my health so low, I feared that this was the end for me. I ran out of breath, and the scorpions prepared their stingers to finish me off.
Leave him alone, bug brains!
Suddenly, the most unlikely of heroes jumped out in front of me, a Stegosaurus. The scorpions were wary of her size and spiked tail, but rushed her all the same. She fought them off valiantly, and I did my part too. I used my stomp ability to provide the Stegosaurus some much-needed crowd control. I stomped the oversized bugs with my powerful feet while the Stegosaurus continued to fight them up close. In the end, only one scorpion remained, and the Stegosaurus crushed it into the ground with her hooves.
I love stomping desert bugs.
Thanks for your help, miss. I'm Max.
Not a problem, Max. Us dinos gotta stick together. Call me Steg. Everyone else does.
I told Steg about the beacons and she agreed to help me cross the desert so I could get to the next one. I was thankful to have made another friend. We both set off together to find the next beacon. On days 40 through 43, Steg and I made it to the desert's edge. I turned around to thank my guide when suddenly she collapsed to the ground.
Didn't want to mention it earlier, but oh, those scorpions got me pretty good.
Steg! The venom from the scorpion stings was slowly killing Steg. If we didn't find an antidote, she was gonna die.
Leave me, Max. Go and kick that Withersaur's butt, if it has one.
No, you saved me, and now I'm gonna save you too. I had lost too many friends already. I wasn't about to lose another. Steg told me that she had heard of a powerful mystic that could heal her, but to get to them, we'd have to traverse an ancient haunted jungle. Haunted? I mean, sure. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I was terrified, but I knew I had to show strength. Thankfully, my dinosaur strength was enough for me to carry Steg on my back. Together, we set off into the jungle, unaware of the horrors that would await us there. On days 44 through 46, Steg managed to gain enough strength to walk again, and we made our way through the trees and fog of the haunted jungle. Things were calm so far, but I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Steg's intuition was proven right when suddenly the plants around us came to life. They sprung out of the soil and snapped at us with razor-sharp teeth. Steg was in no condition to fight, so I had no choice but to do the weed whacking myself. I had twice the size of the plants, so I started off by squashing them with my stomping abilities. Although the attacks were powerful, they left me vulnerable to the plant's powerful jaws. My health dropped quickly, and I had to back away from them. Since getting up close wasn't working, I switched to my sonic boom power to take down the weeds. Each shot from the boom caused minimal damage to their health bars, but I was able to take out a few. Unfortunately, more and more kept sprouting out of the ground hungry for dinosaurs. There were too many enemies, so I had to come up with a plan, and fast. Wait a minute, grass type is weak to fire. Take this! I unleashed my dino breath on the carnivorous plants. They quickly caught fire and the battle was won. Unfortunately, the rest of the jungle started to catch on fire too. Uh-oh, that's not good! The fire was rapidly spreading, and we were left with no choice but to run. On days 47 through 50, Steg and I were running through the burning jungle. Unfortunately, Steg couldn't keep up due to her injuries. As the fire surrounded us, I had to do something quick, or else she'd be a goner. But the only thing my powers could do was destroy. I looked around for an answer, but found nothing. Just when all hope seemed lost, it began to rain. A torrential downpour covered the jungle, and the fire began to go out. That was lucky, but where did it come from?
Look!
Up ahead was an Ishkualasta doing what looked like some sort of rain dance.
Primordial waters, cleanse the fire from these lands!
With her words, the rest of the fire was put out by the rain. Steg and I approached her to thank her for the help. That was amazing! Who are you, and how did you do that?
I am the mystic of this jungle. I have command of many forces beyond comprehension.
You're the mystic? In that case, can you help my friend?
Of course. Stay still for a moment.
The mystic worked their magic on Steg, and before long, she was her old self again.
Whew! Oh, that's much better.
Suddenly, the mystic became very serious.
I've been watching you, Max. Come, the path to the third beacon awaits. Your training has just begun.
On days 51 through 54, I trained with the mystic in the jungle. And go water go! I wasn't quite there yet, but I was just glad to have powers that weren't just about destruction. Being a warden meant protecting others. At least, that's what my new teacher taught me. With her help, I was one step closer to taking down the Withersaur. Let's try that again. Hi-ya! I tried to shoot my water abilities one more time and managed to shoot a full stream. Alright, I did it! Revenge is just around the corner.
Revenge. Is that all this is about for you?
The mystic explained that going after the Withersaur for the wrong reasons would end with me becoming just like him, hate-filled and cruel. She didn't want that for me, and I didn't either.
While your parents' death was a tragedy, the Withersaur wants to corrupt all life. The Witheraptors that follow him have already been twisted. If you don't stop him within the next 50 days, then all of your friends' sacrifices will have been in vain.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna let that happen. My confidence was quickly broken as an all too familiar voice called to me from above.
How brave you are, Max!
I know that laugh. On days 55 through 57, the Withersaur descended from the sky and confronted the Mystic, Stag, and me.
These odds seem fair. 3 on 3.
Bring it! The Withersaur unleashed several attacks on my party. We were strong, but also clearly outmatched. With the Withersaur so high in the air, it made it impossible for me to hit him with my melee attacks, so I used my sonic boom and water stream to try and shoot him down from afar. The Withersaur had powerful scales that resisted my attacks, but I knew with the efforts of me and my friends, we wouldn't go down without a fight. The Withersaur flew in close to deal damage to the Mystic and Stag, giving me the opportunity to swing my Triceratops horn sword at him for some extra hits. This went on for a while, but the Withersaur's powerful attacks dealt too much damage for me to keep going much longer. I tried using everything I learned, and yet the Withersaur brushed off my blows like they were nothing. Finally, the Mystic decided to take matters into her own hands.
Take this. Use it to find the remaining beacons.
The Mystic dropped me an ancient-looking compass and then began to say some magic words. She charged an awesome attack of explosive power that emitted a huge white light. When the smoke cleared, the Withersaur was gone along with the Mystic. The Mystic! She sacrificed herself to kill the Withersaur! She did it! My hopes were dashed immediately as the Withersaur reappeared once again.
Another death on your hands. Don't be sad. Soon, every dinosaur on this earth will share her fate. Find your beacons, meet me on the battlefield, and face your destiny.
The Withersaur's words stung, but as he flew away, I could tell that this encounter wounded him. And if he could get hurt, he could be defeated. With a newfound sense of purpose, I looked at the compass that the Mystic had given me and set off towards the third pyramid. On days 58 through 61, we finally found ourselves at the base of the third pyramid, which was hidden deep in the heart of the jungle. It was huge, and the whole thing was made out of diamond. I guess we head inside? Keep your eyes peeled.
That sounds painful.
We continued inside, and to our surprise, the opening caved in behind us. We narrowly avoided being crushed, but now we had no choice but to press onwards. That's not ominous at all. Putting on a brave face, I continued deeper into the pyramid and Stag followed close behind. Suddenly, Stag stepped on a pressure plate and a swarm of diamond bugs came running towards us. Booby traps! Run for it! Stag and I ran while the horrible bugs followed close behind. We were getting closer to the end of the hallway, and just when I thought the coast was clear, I stepped on a pressure plate myself. The floor around me collapsed and I fell into a deep dark hole. On days 62 through 64, I fell deep into an underground temple, but Stag was nowhere to be seen. I used my echolocation power to get my bearings. Sleeping just behind was a gigantic gorilla made of stone. Just past the beast was a pedestal with another nether star on it. I gotta build the next beacon. Gotta sneak over there without being seen or heard. I carefully made my way towards my prize, being cautious not to make any sounds. The gorilla was snoring loudly, which I used to time my heavy footsteps and avoid being caught. I got right up to the nether star, but as I was about to grab it, I heard a familiar voice call out to me.
Max! Max, are you in here?
Stag had found me, but the gorilla snapped awake and quickly surveyed the situation.
Thieves! In my temple? I won't let you steal the nether star.
The astonishing ape quickly sprung into action and attacked. His forearms were as big as tree trunks, and they hit like a ton of bricks. He was definitely the most powerful foe I had ever faced aside from the Withersaur himself. I jumped into the center of the room and began to shoot him down with my sonic boom attacks from afar. Combining the power of my water stream, I was able to deal pretty good damage, but the Gorilla Guardian was much stronger than he seemed. Luckily, I wasn't alone. Stag used her spikes to inflict some heavy damage on the gorilla. Together, we dug into the beast, but he had another trick up his sleeve. He cloaked himself with a protective shield and pulled energy from the ground around him. Once he finished, he unleashed a powerful laser attack that dealt massive damage. I did my best to keep up the attacks. Even as my health got lower, I knew I couldn't give up here. Stag distracted him and gave me a chance to go in close with my Triceratops horn sword. It was anyone's game, but I was getting closer and closer to death.
I will not fall. The Withersaur cannot be allowed the beacon's power.
Wait, what? It appeared that the gorilla and I were actually on the same side. I stopped fighting and told Stag to do the same. The gorilla, it turns out, had been guarding the pyramid for a really long time and brought the nether star down into the underground to ensure it never fell into the wrong hands. After I explained why I wanted it, he agreed to give it up, as long as I promised to destroy the Withersaur once and for all. It's a deal. On days 65 through 68, I claimed the Nether Star as the gorilla began to build a miniature pyramid made of diamond. What's that for? He told me that this is where I needed to place the pyramid's beacon. I did what he said, and just as before, the beacon was lit. I gained 5 more hearts, grew even larger, and now rivaled the gorilla in size. Look at me! I'd like to see the Withersaur try and take me on now.
That can be arranged.
Just then, the Withersaur flew into the pyramid from the hole in the ceiling and began to rain fire down onto my group. It seemed like I was really getting under his skin, metaphorically speaking. We avoided his blast as best as we could, but the whole pyramid was beginning to shake. It was clear that the Withersaur wasn't aiming for us, but the structure itself.
His temple will be your tomb. So long, Max.
The Withersaur flew away as the pyramid began to crumble all around us. Time was running out fast.
What do we do? We'll be crushed!
Not if I can help it.
The gorilla quickly got to work building something. As he placed the final block, a portal appeared. As rubble continued to fall all around us, time was up. I didn't dare question the gorilla's portal. We all jumped in head first. On days 69 through 72, my friends and I were flung out the opposite end of the portal. Suddenly, I felt hot. Really hot. I looked around and found that we were in a strange new world. Whoa. Is this?
Welcome to the Nether. You'll find the next beacon here, but I'm afraid I can go no further.
The gorilla explained that he and Steg were not equipped to survive in this environment. Being a Warden Dinosaur, I was uniquely capable of surviving in deep places such as this. With that, we said our goodbyes and parted ways. I was sad to leave my friends behind, but also happy that we are no longer in harm's way. My troubles, on the other hand, were only just beginning. On days 73 through 75, while traversing the Nether using the compass the Mystic gave me, I was set upon by a group of ghasts. They floated too far out of reach, so despite my best efforts, I couldn't hit them back. As I was struggling, an Ankylosaurus appeared.
Hey, follow me.
I knew I should be weary, but I followed the Ankylosaurus and together we managed to avoid the ghasts and take shelter. For now, at least.
Those ghasts don't let up. Stay on your guard. I'm Kylo, by the way.
Max. Nice to meet you, Kylo. I asked Kylo about the beacons and he was quick to warn me about the dangers associated with it. But after everything I'd been through, there was no way I was gonna turn back now. Kylo admired my courage and agreed to be my guide. We decided to head out immediately. The threat of the gas pose was still imminent, but time was of the essence if I was gonna stop the Withersaur's plans. On days 76 through 79, things were going smoothly as Kylo proved to be an excellent guide. So far, we managed to avoid any confrontations, but that streak would soon come to an end. Suddenly, the Witheraptors had caught up to me even here in the Nether. A pack of them came upon us swiftly and we had no choice but to hold our ground. Thankfully, that tale of Kylo's wasn't just for show.
Take this, you bag of bones.
Kylo's heavy hits were enough to disorient and in some cases destroyed the Witheraptors with just a single blow. Before long, the pack was put down, but we knew more would be on their way. They found me! We don't have much time!
Then let's keep moving.
On days 80 through 86, Kylo and I followed the Mystic's compass and finally came upon the 4th pyramid. Being a glimmering emerald, it stood out from the rest of the Nether like a sore thumb. Unfortunately, this also meant it attracted a lot of attention. An army of Witheraptors and Witherghasts patrolled the outside of the pyramid. Even being as strong as we were, there was no way that Kylo and I could take on an army like that. There had to be another way in. Luckily, Kylo had an idea.
I'll make a distraction and draw them away from the pyramid.
No way. It's too risky. If they catch you, they'd kill you.
That's why I won't let them catch me. Come on, it's the only way.
I didn't like it, but it's the only plan we had. Kylo got into position and the stage was set. From a distance, I watched him approach the Withersaur's army. I wondered what exactly he'd say to make sure they'd follow him. I was shortly given my answer.
Yoo-hoo! Over here, you Withersaur simps!
What did he call us?
You'll pay for that!
Kylo took off running and the entire army chased him. Good job, Kylo! Now it's my turn. Once I was sure the coast was clear, I entered the pyramid. On days 87 through 89, I utilized Kylo's distraction so that I could enter the Emerald Pyramid freely. The foe I met standing before me was none other than the terrifying Tyrannosaurus Rex. I quickly understood just how powerful my enemy really was.
You must be Max. It saddens me that we must meet as foes, but it seems the Withersaur has already decided your fate.
Why serve him? You can overthrow him!
It is too late for me. Do not worry. I will make your death quick.
The Tyrannosaurus was true to his word, and moved with surprising swiftness to attack me. I narrowly dodged his powerful jaws, and delivered a counterattack of my own. We exchanged powerful blows and bites, but his hulking figure began to overwhelm me. I knew I had to come up with another course of action or I wouldn't survive the assault. I utilized my supersonic shout, emitting an ear-piercing shriek in an attempt to create distance between us. But it still wasn't enough. I pulled out my sword of the Triceratops, slashing into the mighty Tyrannosaurus' flesh. Not to be outdone, he continued his assault and landed the most powerful bite I had ever experienced. My hearts took a massive hit, and I was on my last legs. If I wasn't careful, this was no doubt gonna be the end.
Batter up!
Kylo had somehow escaped his pursuers and showed up just in time. He delivered a devastating blow to the Tyrannosaurus' leg. The Tyrannosaurus seemed to be hurting, but it was not out of the fight yet. The Tyrannosaurus repaid Kylo's hit with an unbridled fury. He went all out, and now Kylo was in serious trouble. I wasn't about to let Kylo join Razor and Chrome, so I mustered everything I could in one final attack and let it all loose. My attack connected, and the T-Rex was no more. With no time left to waste, I gathered the Nether Star off of his corpse and crafted the 4th beacon. Once again, my power increased. Kylo was impressed.
You're even stronger than the T-Rex now! That's amazing, Max!
Thanks! Hey, what happened to that army that was chasing you?
Oh, I just got a few minutes ahead of them while running. They should be here any second now.
What? On days 90 through 92, Kylo and I were running for our lives from the full might of the Withersaur's army. As we ran, I caught a glimpse of the portal that the gorilla had used to bring me here. There! Run for the portal! A gas managed to nick me with a flame blast, and I dropped the Mystic's compass, which fell down into the nearby lava. No! Despite this loss, I couldn't focus on it for long. Kylo and I got to the portal in the nick of time and went through it. I quickly worked to destroy it and close off the army from following through from behind us.
Nice thinking, Max. So where are we?
We had ended up where the Diamond Pyramid once stood, which had since been destroyed during the Withersaur's attack. As I looked around at the damage, I saw Stag and the gorilla waiting for me. Guys, you made it back! I was happy to reunite with my friends. I introduced them to Kylo and told them all about the army in the Nether, including the T-Rex.
You beat a T-Rex? I almost can't believe it!
Now you only need one more beacon, correct?
It was true. Soon I'd be powerful enough to destroy the Withersaur. If only I could find that last beacon. But with the Mystic's compass destroyed, I didn't know where to go next. Suddenly, I got a severe headache and went into a vision. On days 93 through 95, I entered into a vision and saw my childhood home. As I approached, I saw 2 other Warden Dinosaurs that looked extremely familiar. Mom! Dad!
Son! Oh, you made it!
We've been watching you. We're so proud of what you've accomplished.
We love you, son.
And I promise I'm gonna make sure the Withersaur can't hurt anyone else like he hurt you. But I could really use some help. I don't know where the last beacon is, and I only have a few days left to find it.
Oh? Where else would it be?
It's here, son. It's always been here.
I looked around to realize the Deep Dark was home to a netherite pyramid. I knew then I had to head home. The Deep Dark. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
Good luck, son. We know you can do this.
As my vision came to an end, I appeared back in the real world with my friends standing around me. Guys, I know where I have to go. I just don't know how I'm gonna get there in time.
I think I can help with that.
The Mystic was alive after all. She explained that she shielded herself from the Withersaur's attack, but had been knocked out until now. She prepared a spell, and she and I were teleported to our final confrontation. On days 96 through 98, the Mystic and I arrived back in the Deep Dark. It was good to be home, but something about this place seemed different. Before, it was bustling with life, but now it was barren and lifeless. This place seems dead.
Be mindful, this could be a trap.
The Mystic and I began walking to the netherite pyramid when I saw them, an army of Witheraptors. For some strange reason though, they didn't attack. We cautiously continued, all while the army of skeletal creatures stared us down. It was seriously creepy. Why are they not attacking?
Maybe they're playing with their food.
We made it to the pyramid as the Witheraptors continued to glare at us and made our way inside. On day 99, we finally made it to the last beacon, and oddly, the Nether Star was already placed out for us. There was no one guarding the beacon at all. This all felt too easy. Nevertheless, I needed the power, so I began to build the beacon. As I was placing the last materials, the Mystic spoke up.
Wait, no, Max, stop!
But it was too late. I had placed down the completed beacon and the energy was flowing through me already. I grew larger than any other dinosaur and could feel myself bursting with strength, gaining me 10 more hearts. This feels amazing! What were you worried about? Suddenly, the Withersaur's laugh echoed throughout the chamber. He revealed himself along with his army of Witheraptors who had been watching us, joining in the chorus of laughter. Withersaur, what's so funny, huh?
You played right into my hand. You see, I wanted you to find all of the beacons. I needed you to become the most powerful Warden Dinosaur to have ever lived. All so that I could take your body for myself.
What? How?
Ask your precious Mystic. There are forces that some cannot comprehend in this world, but I can. Once I have your body's strength, I will be unstoppable.
You'll have to beat me first. Let's do this. On day 100, the fight to end all fights began. Neither of us was holding back this time, and both of us were at our full potential. It would come down to who was truly strongest, and who had the most will. I used all the abilities in my arsenal, including my Sonic Boom and Dino Breath to deal damage from afar. Whenever he got close, I would stomp onto him with my massive feet. Thanks to the power of the beacons, my size was much bigger, and made my stomping attack have much more of a punch. Even with my abilities though, the Withersaur dealt massive damage to me. Luckily, the Mystic ran down by my feet, giving me words of encouragement and healing me between blows. They didn't last long though. She was quickly run off by some of the Withersaur's Witheraptors.
Sorry, Max. No cheating. It's now just you and me.
I utilized everything the Mystic taught me and used my water stream attack to catch him off guard. Even though it did good damage, it still wasn't enough. Without the Mystic's healing abilities, I was beginning to get overwhelmed by the Withersaur's strength. He now had the upper hand, and I stumbled back. I was down to a single heart, and everything started to become fuzzy.
This is it. The end is nigh.
No, I can't lose. Not after everything I've been through. Suddenly, all of my friends, the ones who got me here, the ones I lost, my family, everyone I cared about, they all flashed before my eyes. I remembered just what exactly I was fighting for and how much they sacrificed. I couldn't let it all be in vain. I wouldn't. Withersaur! Yeah! I channeled everything I could muster, all of my energy and power into one single final attack. It struck the Withersaur in the chest, and he exploded out with the force of 1,000 suns. The Witheraptors were wiped out due to his death, and the threat of the Wither Dinosaurs became extinct for good.